Hello there, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, the short game swing versus the full swing. Are they the same? Well, they are in some ways, but there are some differences as well. Let's go through that. It's simple, common sense stuff. So 3-wood and gap wedge, pretty big design difference there. This is where the similarities full swing to long game. No matter the design of the club or whatever the design of the club, that sets the priority for the plane you should be swinging on. Let's have a look at the pros.
Older video there with Aaron Badley hitting a driver on the left, Charles Howell's short greenside shot on the right. Obviously very different shaft angles, but you'll see the way he takes the club back really relates well to the design of the club, and similarly with the chip. So that's what we're looking for. Stay with the design of the club.
So this isn't quite as complicated as it seems. You look at my setup with a hybrid, the club's much flatter. I'm consequently a lot farther from the ball. Pitching wedge much closer, especially if I choke up, as I probably would on a greenside shot. So the setup differences, the natural inclination of the club should account for the differences in how it swings, how it adheres to the shaft design. So nothing too complicated there if you already have a reasonable takeaway. Let's start to look now. We'll start on the computer at some of the big differences between the full swing and the short game.
So Charles Howell, we're sticking with him. That's him when he's a lot younger, pounding a driver out there and hitting just a 40-yard pitch or so on the right. Now, if you look at the two swings, they are reasonably similar. He cocks his wrist a fraction later with the driver, but they're reasonably similar, other than, of course, he makes a longer backswing with the driver. And when we get around the green, we're making a significantly smaller swing. So notwithstanding many similarities in the way we generally go back, to make a smaller swing, we need to make a few adjustments typically in the setup. Let's get outside and look at that.
So obviously one of the biggest differences is going to be the size of the swing used. Depends on the shot, but a full swing's way back around here. Unless I'm pretty far from the green, it's a much, much smaller swing. But what I would do is I would try to have my swinging motion, for the most part, in the same proportions as a big swing. That is to say, if I'm only turning to there, there's very little wrist motion. There would be some here. As I get closer to completing my turn, there's more wrist cock. Blended in more or less like a full swing as a general rule. Now, number two, one of the ways you can help shorten your swing, especially the backswing, and that is to change your setup. So if I picture, say, an impact with a full swing, if I put my feet closer together, preset them a little bit, and get myself set here like this, this tends to reduce the size of the backswing a little bit, creates more resistance, if you like, and it also frees me up to turn through the shot a little bit more. Now, once in a while in a golf lesson, someone will say, well, if that's such a great idea at the setup, presetting an impact feel, why don't you do it in the big swing? And the reason we've touched on there is too restrictive to the backswing. You need a more normal position to make a big backswing. Okay, another fundamental difference in the swings isn't just the size, of course influenced by the setup, but it's the way we move our body in relation to the club on the downswing. Another quick look on the computer, then we'll finish up out here.
Adam Scott on the left hitting a full shot, looks like a mid-iron. Charles Howell hitting a little greenside shot there with probably a pitching wedge on the right. So let's have a look. If you like these videos, by the way, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel or consider it, or give a thumbs up or whatever it is people do with these online videos that shows they like it. Now, Adam Scott. So let's have a look. Watch the driving of the lower body and watch how the wrist cock really loads and lags coming into the shot. Unlike that, there's almost no lower body movement in this shot. There's a little bit, but it's more just a brush through of the arms and shoulders. And you can see far less lag coming into the shot, far less of this angle. So dynamically, it's different. It's not just smaller swing, but as we'll get into outside, it's a different type of swing.
Okay, there's a full swing with a pitching wedge. And we got 4 components when they look at 3D motion capture in golf. That's your hips, your upper trunk there, your arms, and in this case, the club could be the ball, the racket, or whatever. And the more, let me grab this towel, my Mediterra towel, the more the towel has mobility, the more that disassociates from my hand, the more pop I give it. So great golfers, when they swing, you'll see a big disassociation between the hips, the wrists have more bounce in them, and all that sort of stuff creates a lot more speed. But we're not looking for a lot of speed when we're near the green, so you don't see nearly this disassociation. In addition, I think most top pitchers, when they're right around the green on a normal lie, say within 8-10 yards, they really don't do anything dynamic with their lower body. Now, their lower body isn't completely still, it moves a bit. They're a little bit like a catcher in baseball, which I don't know much about baseball, just kind of tossing it with their arm. They're not engaging their middle so much. So less disassociation, less snap, if you like, even to the point where there's very little movement down here other than just the floating through with the motion of the upper body. That kind of a look there, much more control, and tones the speed down. These are all simple sort of ideas. If you grasp them a little bit, I hope it'll help you differentiate between the full and short game, and I hope you make progress with your game.